What is your beef with beef?
Never really liked it growing up, but at times, when I'm back home or something, I'll dabble into, some Bojangles or something like that back in North Carolina every now and then.
I like it. Yo, welcome to RG3 and The Ones of Wave Sports and Entertainment original presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Robert Griffin III, and on this show, we are talking to the ones at the top of their industries in sports and entertainment. I'm talking about the people that don't just know the game, but they also study the game. And by the end of this episode, hopefully you can take something that'll allow you to become the one in your own life. And oh me, I'm just the one that told y'all the Jets were going to need Zach Wilson eventually, and they did. And this man went out there and played his heart out to get them a victory. It's amazing what you can do when you live life or play in a football game like you have nothing to lose. He was out there throwing bombs and kissing moms. But that's enough about Zach Wilson. What we're here for is this show. And we need you guys to like and subscribe on our YouTube page because we're going to have episodes dropping for you every single Thursday. Come on now, guys. Come get that free game from us. Like I said, every single Thursday, we're going to be dropping new episodes on you. So make sure you follow us on social media at RG3 and The Ones. Again, follow us on social media at RG3 and The Ones so you can get those daily clips that'll keep you abreast of what's going on this show. But coming up on this episode, I'm going to be talking to the man who is the starting quarterback at my old stomping grounds. That's right. We're talking about the Washington Commanders. Some of y'all know them as the Washington football team. Some of y'all know them as the Washington well, can't say that one. But they've had many, many different names. But this guy's game shines through it all. He is the starting quarterback or was the starting quarterback at North Carolina. He is the starting quarterback for the Washington Commanders, who was drafted in the 5th round in 2022. And going into week 10, he actually led the NFL in passing yards. That's how well he has been pushing the football down the field. I'm talking about the one and the only Sam Howell. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Appreciate you having me on.
Nah, man, I'm grateful for you to come on. Had an opportunity to meet you and get to know you at first at the NFL Combine and go through that whole process with you. It's always been a joy. I've always said you throw the deep ball prettier than just about anyone I've ever seen. Just how's this year been going for you?
Yeah, it's been good. I think obviously, first year playing, there's been a lot of ups and downs, and we've definitely been through a lot this year. But I think we've done a lot of good things. Obviously the wins haven't been there for us, and we feel like we've kind of left a lot of games out there that we feel like we definitely should have won. But still a lot of football left. So we're going to take it one day at a time, one game at a time, and keep trying to get some wins.
Yeah, so you go from that experience in college with Mac Brown in North Carolina, and now you get to the NFL in your rookie year. Just talk about that transition from going from being the man in college to now kind of sitting there in Washington for the majority of the season.
Yeah, it's tough. Definitely, obviously when you dream of playing the NFL, you dream of being on the field and winning games and playing well. You don't really dream of being the third string quarterback and not even, putting the pads on game day. But I just try to take it, one day at a time and just try to make the most of it. I was fortunate to be with, two great guys and Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke, and they were both so good to me. And obviously they've both been in the NFL for a long time. They've been around a lot of football and a lot of other quarterbacks as well. So it was fun to just kind of sit back and watch them go about their business, go about their everyday life, and just seeing how they manage things, just because obviously they both had an opportunity to play that year, and just kind of seeing how they were different, what things they did the same, what things kind of worked for them. But, I was just fortunate that they were just so willing to help me, and I think that's ultimately why I was able to, kind of earn the job this year, is because of what they taught me last year.
No, that's huge. One, for you to say that, but two, also the fact that you had that support in that room. I'm a big proponent that for every quarterback in the NFL, the makeup of the room is so important because you have to have guys that are in there all trying to help each other, even though only one quarterback plays. Everybody's got to be on a common mission, and that's to do what's best for the team. So I'm thankful that you got to experience that with Taylor Heineke and Carson Wentz. What would you say was your reaction when you did get drafted by the Commanders?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think once I kind of fell in the draft, obviously you kind of you really could go anywhere.
Right.
Just, you're at that point in the draft, any team could pick you up just to kind of have some depth in the quarterback room. But I was just fortunate to be in Washington and play for play for Coach Rivera. And it's a really good roster. A lot of really good players on this team. And
True.
obviously, we're still trying to figure it out, still trying to become the team that we think we can become. But I'm super blessed and super fortunate to be here.
No, listen, playing the NFL, I've always told everybody it's a privilege. You don't have a right to do it. And it's an honor to be able to play for yourself. When you talk about that fall in the draft, because I know when we talked at the combine, it was like, you're going to be a first round pick. You've played that way in college. You proved yourself, not only your ability to throw, but also your ability to create. I thought was undervalued and still is undervalued, in my opinion. I don't think you're sneaky athletic. I think you're athletic. I think you can throw.
I appreciate that.
Throw the leather off the football. But do you carry that as like a chip on your shoulder, the fact that you did fall in the draft, and like every time you step out there, are you trying to prove a point?
Yeah, honestly, I don't really think too much of it. I think
Gotcha.
it is what it is. But for me, it really wasn't about when I got drafted. It was about if I got drafted and where is my opportunity going to be. And all I ever wanted was an opportunity. And I was fortunate enough to be in Washington where Coach Rivera gave me that opportunity.
What would you say was your biggest welcome to the NFL moment in your first couple of years?
Yeah, I think, man, obviously you can have that in a good way and in a bad way. Obviously I think, we played Buffalo this year, week 3. We started off 2-0, and I played pretty well those first 2 games, and we played Buffalo. I mean, we got killed, man. I don't remember the final score, but I threw like 4 interceptions, and it's just like, man, like in this league, if you're not on your game, that's what'll happen to you. And no matter who you're playing, no matter what their record is, any given Sunday, any team can come in and beat you. And so it just kind of, obviously made me kind of refocus a little bit, just because as a team we were kind of riding high and thought we were a really good team. And thought kind of, I'm not saying that we got complacent or anything, but just showing that if you're not on your game, then anything can happen. But since then, I really just try to dive in each and every week and really take it one game at a time and really focus in on each and every day. And I think I've been better because of it.
No, we always talk about this in the quarterback rooms, at least some of the veteran rooms that I was in. It's very hard to ride that roller coaster of a ride that the NFL season can be. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. And would you say, thinking back on that now, is that the biggest difference from your rookie year to this year? Just the ability to play and go through that roller coaster?
For sure, I think that's definitely the biggest difference. Is just obviously the season's really long, and this is kind of my first time playing in a long season. Obviously, because when you're not playing, yeah, it's long, but it's not taking anything off your body. It really doesn't feel as long as it does when you are playing, and just the focus and how demanding it is on a week-to-week basis. And you gotta obviously you gotta play the game on Sunday, then you gotta come back in on Monday ready to go for the next week. And it's a very demanding game, but I love it, and I love every part of it. But yeah, definitely the biggest difference from last year, this year, just playing and going through and just riding the emotions. And a team like us, we've had a lot of ups and downs this year. Just trying to keep the guys going, keep the morale up. But it's been a fun ride for sure.
So I want to ask you about the transition from not playing to playing, in a 2-part question. So the first part is, how was the transition last year, playing in I think it was the last game of the year? How was that transition from going from being on the scout team the whole season to now being the starter? Yeah,
it was definitely interesting. Just because all year long I wasn't even the scout team guy. Carson was playing, then Taylor was a scout team guy, and then I got to be the scout team guy when Taylor was playing a little bit.
Right.
But then when Carson got back healthy, he was the scout team guy. So I would go out there to practice and stand there the whole time. And, obviously after practice, I would go back through the script and try to get all the reps in. But for the most part, I would just go out there at practice and not do anything.
So you didn't get any reps leading up into that week.
Yeah, there was a few weeks where Carson was inactive just because he was hurt. Where I got the scout team reps. But yeah, really, I didn't start throwing to Terry or Jahan or Curtis Samuel, any of those guys, until that week of the game. You know how it is. Week 18 in practice. It's not really, nothing's really full speed at that point. Yep. So most of the routes and pass plays we were running the game was the first time I was really running them full speed with the guys. So definitely a little bit of an adjustment. But fortunately we were able to kind of take control of that game pretty early and just kind of manage the game from that point on. But it was definitely a cool experience. I'm glad I got to get out there before the season ended, and obviously just going into the off season, there's so much unknown, and especially if I never would have played, there's no telling if I would have been given this opportunity this year. So I'm just forever grateful for that opportunity to play that game.
No, that's awesome. And really, there's a huge story about how Taylor Heinicke talked to Coach about the fact that you should get an opportunity to play in that game because he had a feeling that he wasn't going to be there the following year. Just how grateful were you to Taylor Heinicke for speaking up on your behalf and allowing you to have that opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there was kind of a lot that went into that whole situation. And obviously, Taylor's a guy who's always had my back, and he's always been so supportive of me and always would tell me how good he thinks I can be in this league. And just to be a part of, a room with such great guys like that. And, Carson was the same way as well. It just makes life so much better, obviously, because, they have every right to not be that way. And just the relationship that we have, and just for him to, have my back like that definitely says a lot about who he is as a person, who he is as a teammate. But yeah, forever grateful for Taylor for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's very rare that any quarterback would tell a coach, yeah, you know what, this guy, I believe in this guy. I think he should get a shot to go out there and play. And you know how cutthroat it can be at the quarterback position, whether it's in high school, college, or the NFL. So I think that's awesome that you guys had that type of relationship. And you certainly made the most of that opportunity going out and getting the win. But the second part of that question for me was about how much more prepared were you this year, having the whole entire offseason to prepare to be the guy and then being that guy to go out there this year and really put up impressive numbers. Obviously, I know you want to do better and you want to get more wins, but you are throwing the football at an extremely high level when it comes to your yards and your touchdowns. How much did that help you getting that game and then the transition into this whole offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very it helped me a lot. Just getting that confidence. Obviously, going through the year not playing at all, you really obviously, I've always been confident in my abilities and always felt like I could go out there and do well, but you really never know until you go out there and do it. So, just going into the offseason with that confidence and just knowing, not thinking I could do it, knowing I could do it, just helped a lot. And then just getting all the time with the guys and just, trying to, obviously learn new offense with Eric Bieniemy and just, spending so much time during the offseason, during OTAs, during training camp with the receivers, tight ends, running backs, just trying to really, build that chemistry. I think that's something that definitely helped me a lot. And obviously, we kind of carried that into the season. But yeah, I mean, I just think that whole year, obviously, as a competitor, you want to be playing every single game, especially, when you're young, you don't want to be sitting there when you feel like you can play. But I think you can definitely learn so much from it. And I think I'm definitely better this year just from the ability to sit back and watch last year.
No, that's awesome. And I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but your first touchdown pass was to Terry McLaurin?
Yes, sir, it was, yeah.
17-yarder. Just how much of a joy has it been to play with a guy like Scary Terry?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I got to do a better job getting him the ball a little bit more. But he's been awesome. It's so much fun to play with an elite wide receiver like Terry. And just a guy that at any time, if you need a play, just find him. And he's been so supportive of me. So, he's been such a great teammate to me. And even at times where I probably missed the read and should have thrown in the ball, and he probably could have had a few more touchdowns than he's had this season. He's always, had my back and been so supportive. So he's just a great guy, great player. He's definitely one of the guys you want on your team for sure.
Yeah, he seems like he's a great teammate. Everything that I've seen and heard about him has been through the roof. But when you talk about needing to get the football more to him, how do you go about doing that at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's late in the season, but we still treat every single game like a must win, and we're not giving up on the season by any means.
Right.
And obviously, we go into every single game trying to get every single guy on our offense involved, and just kind of the defense kind of dictates where the ball goes in the progression as far as what they're trying, who they're trying to take away, what coverages they're playing. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go through the plays how I'm taught to go through the plays. But still in the back of my head, I know that if things are even, go to Terry for sure.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, because you hear Terry talk about how, he did cardio last week, and I've heard receivers say that. Listen, whether you get them 10 passes one week and then one the next, every great receiver always wants the football. That's just that's how they're wired. How do you build that quarterback wide receiver connection without forcing it to him here late in the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just got to continue to, be patient and not try to press. I think just, taking what they give us and just knowing that, this is, we're in this thing for the long run. And we feel like we can have a really bright future here in this organization and with this football team. And so just trying to just continue to build and try to get better. And, we take practice really serious as far as, just building that timing, building that chemistry and trying to translate that in the game day and, just talking through things in meetings, trying to be on the same page, not only with Terry, but with all the guys. So we know, we have 4 games left and, I don't know really what the, playoff chances are. I know that if we win every single game, we have somewhat of a chance. And that's our goal, to try to go out there every single week and put our best foot forward and, try to get better, and if it doesn't work out for us this year, then knowing that we got some good things to roll into next year.
No, I think that's the perfect way to put it. And when you talk about the future and the future being bright, everyone wants to know if you are the franchise quarterback for the Washington Commanders. So I'm going to ask you, what does a franchise quarterback look like in your view?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of the guys who's the leader of your football team. Someone that's very reliable. Very consistent guy. Obviously, having great leadership and just the ability to make plays, the ability just win football games. And obviously, I think we struggled to win a little bit this year, but I think we have a really good football team, and I think the more time that we have as a team to grow and develop, we can really become something special. So obviously hoping for the ability just to continue to grow as a football team, just because I feel like we really can build something special here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and answer the same question that I asked you, and started by saying I do think you're the franchise quarterback for the Washington Commanders, and it's not just the stats and the numbers. I think it has to do with your willingness to go out there and put it all on the line for your team, and the fact that your team has your back. There's a hit you took against the Arizona Cardinals this year. And the way that the team reacted and responded after that hit, it was a brawl. Like for you, when you see that your teammates come to your defense like that, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it just makes me, it just really makes me appreciate the people that I have around me. Just knowing that those guys always have my back. And ever since I've been here, I've always tried to do everything I could to make those guys feel like I have their back as well, and try to do everything I can to be the best teammate I could be, even when I wasn't playing, every single day. And I'd do anything that these guys ever needed. So it's just so much fun to see that in return. And I think we have such a great team, such a great locker room, and the guys get along. People that come from obviously this is the only team I've been on, but people that come from other teams, just say how cool our locker room is and how cool it is that everyone's getting along. So we just got to try to continue to build, try to continue to grow, and try to translate all that into more football wins.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, people. It's not just like kumbaya in the locker room and hey, that's your franchise guy, but leadership is a huge part of being that franchise guy. And then I think from a performance standpoint, you've showcased the skills to say, yes, this guy can be a franchise quarterback. And some people will point to the interceptions. And the only thing that I'll say about that is you're taking chances and you're learning your lessons on the job right now. NFL is a different monster. Throwing windows are a little tighter. What you can get away with in the NFL is a little bit, more tough than what you can get away with in college. And I think you're working through all of those nooks and crannies. And I think you've showcased enough to say, all right, we can build with this guy in the future. We just have to go put all the right pieces around him and continue to pour more resources into who Sam Howell is. So you don't have to say that. I'll say it for you.
No, I definitely appreciate that.
No problem at all, man. I'm not just saying that because you're here either. It's the holiday season and we're all trying to keep it cozy, and nothing beats a nice warm bubble bath to unwind and relax after fighting that cold weather all day. So this week's episode of RG3 and The Ones is sponsored by Dr. Teal's. Dr. Teal's Epsom salt is trusted by the pros, aka ya boy, who push their bodies to the limit. After a long day of blasting Zach Wilson haters or hanging out with the Heisman Trophy winners and MVPs, I need some me time. There's nothing I love more than a nice warm bubble bath just to take all the stress away from the day. Because I can't be one of the ones without recharging my mind, body, and soul. And I use this all the time. Self-care and recovery is important, especially if you're an athlete or if you're partying a little too hard at those holiday parties, you know what I'm saying? So soaking in Dr. Teal's Epsom salts can recharge your muscles and helps to speed recovery. That sounds like the perfect Christmas gift to me. It's time to go to work and recover just like the pros do. Grab Dr. Teal's Epsom salts at Walmart today and elevate your game. Just talk about, the experience with Ron Rivera and meeting him for the very first time. How did that go?
Yeah, I've had great experiences with him. Obviously, I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, so obviously, big fan of his. Just watching him and the Panthers. When they kind of went on that Super Bowl run, and it was just so much fun to watch and be a part of. Just from being in the city of Charlotte. But no, it's super cool. Got the opportunity to really meet him at the combine. During the interview process, and obviously, super grateful that he brought me here. And just kind of throughout that process, he told me that he was a huge fan of my game, and he stayed true to his word and brought me to Washington.
Awesome.
So just forever grateful for that opportunity and just being able to learn from him on a daily basis as far as how he leads and how he manages the team, how he manages the organization. So it's definitely been a lot of fun to be here.
No, that's awesome. Anybody that's listening or that woke up this morning understands that it's important to have people that believe in you in your life. And it certainly helps when the head coach believes in your ability to go out and play. And I think he showcased that for you. But when you look at the way the year has unfolded, and now you have a head coach on the hot seat, and there's all these discussions about what's going to happen, how do you manage those distractions and or that pressure to just continue to go out and control what you can control?
Yeah, I think, it's something that we've done a really good job of as a team is, there's really, obviously, there's been a lot of change in the organization. People are definitely aware of that in the building. But I think at the end of the day, all you can do is, like you said, control what you can control. Obviously, you can spend all your time worrying about what might happen in the future or something like that. But really all you can do is try to go in there each and every day and give it all you got. And obviously I think if you do well, if you play well and you can win games, and obviously, I think you'll get the results that you want. But to get there, you got to take it one day at a time and take it one step at a time and truly give your all. And I think if you put everything into it, if you pour everything into it, no matter what the results are at the end of the day, you'll be able to live with it.
You say that, and the first thing that comes to my mind is, what has Coach Rivera's message been to the team throughout these tumultuous weeks and as the season comes to a close over these next 4 games? Like, what's been his singular message to you guys in the locker room? Yeah,
I think, the main thing is, we still have a lot of football left, still have a lot to play for. And I think inside the building, he talks about it a lot, I talk about it a lot, is we have so much potential as a football team, and we truly have not found out how good we can be. We haven't played complete games as a team, and so we got 4 games left, and so let's go find out how good we can be. And I think he's kept the vibe positive. He's been positive all year long, and just kind of staying with that same message of controlling what we can control. At the end of the day, no one can predict the future. No one knows what's going to happen, but what we can control is how hard we work and what our mindset is coming into the building each and every day.
I love it. You're getting me pumped up, Sam. Gonna make me go run through a wall, man. Speaking of being pumped up, I have to ask this question of you because, no one better to answer it than you. Is Eric Bieniemy a head coach?
For sure. Yeah, and I think Eric Bieniemy would be a great head coach. Obviously, I've enjoyed working with him as a play caller and as an offensive coordinator, but I just think his ability to lead, his ability to relate to guys, and his ability to get the best out of his players is what truly separates him as a coach. But he'll get his opportunity at some point. Right. Not sure when. Might be next year somewhere. Might be in 10 years. But whenever he gets his opportunity, he'll definitely show people why he should be a head coach for sure. But I'm definitely a big fan of his.
No, it's awesome that you say that, because the NFL seems to have tried to close that book or that chapter on his coaching career, and it's not that it's not fair. It's more so that I think the players that have been around him, like yourself, speak so highly of him that he should earn that opportunity with all the AFC championships he's been to, all the Super Bowls that he's won, and all the lives that he's impacted. So I would say for you, what would you say the most important thing that you have learned from Eric Bieniemy?
Yeah, I mean, I just think his ability to lead and his ability to get the best out of everybody is definitely something I've learned from him. Just, obviously he's a very passionate coach, very energetic coach, and just how much he truly puts every single thing that he's got into this game and into this team. And it's just so much fun to, kind of watch him work, see how hard he works, and just see the way he leads and see the way he tries to get the best out of his players. So definitely just some of the ways he leads is definitely something I've learned from him.
Now, Sam, I'm not a rumor guy. I'm not a sources guy. I absolutely hate that. I think if you're going to say something, you should put your name behind it. But there was some stuff out there saying that Bieniemy was too tough or too hard on the guys, and some guys didn't like it. You talk about that intensity that he brings. First of all, was there any truth to any of that, at least from what you could feel from the locker room?
Honestly, when all that stuff was, being said, most of us were just confused.
Exactly.
We had no idea what they're talking about. I was asking some of the reporters, like, what are y'all talking about? Like, where are y'all getting this from? And,
thank you.
And no one had an answer. But it is what it is. You can't control everything that's out there in the media. But we know in the building, the type of guy that EB is and just how much respect he has in the building. And I think us players, especially in this locker room, we want to be coached hard, and we want to play for someone that really wants our best, and someone that's willing to go the extra step to try to get our best. And that's the type of guy we want to play for, and that's the type of guy that Eric Bieniemy is.
Oh man, that's Sam. I knew somebody was lying. Just trying to tear him down. Like I just don't like that. I really don't. And I'm in the media industry now, and I don't do that because it was obviously done to me during my career. I just think it's not a cool thing. And obviously, if you guys in the locker room are sitting there questioning, like, where is this coming from? It just makes everybody involved look bad.
For sure.
What's important on the field, though, for all of us, you, me, all the fans, all the other players around the league, is probably the hottest topic in football right now, and that's the officiating. Now, don't you say anything on here that's going to get you fined, okay? Don't you do that. I don't think you would.
I got you.
But what, just with everything that you saw happen in this past game with the Kansas City Chiefs, what's your feeling about officiating, the consistency of it? Was it an offsides? Just the floor is yours to kind of talk about just where officiating is and how it's impacting the game.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of said, officiating is so hard just because, no matter what you do, someone's going to be mad at you, whether, you were making a call, one team's going to be mad, one team's not going to be as mad. So it's such a hard thing to do, especially in real time and full time. It's really hard. So I've always, just kind of took my hat off to the officials just because they have a really hard job to do. As far as, what kind of happened in the Chiefs game, obviously, you at the end of the game, you want to kind of see the refs let the players, kind of dictate the outcome of the game. But at the end of the day, kind of is what it is. If I was in that situation, then, I would just, obviously it'd be a tough pill to swallow, especially just how the play turned out. The ref didn't know that it was going to be a touchdown, so it's definitely a tough situation. But, it definitely is a very hard spot that the officials are in.
Yeah, and what I'll say is clearly you saw Patrick Mahomes go off. He lost it, right? He absolutely lost his mind on what the play when happened and Kadarius Toney being offsides. Let's take the people inside, just like the process of getting to the line of scrimmage and making sure you're on that line. So first I'll ask, was Kadarius Toney offside, Sam?
Yeah, obviously, I think obviously, you don't want to line up too far, too close to the ball. But
right.
I think it was Dan Orlovsky that kind of made a good point where he lined up there several times throughout the game. So that's definitely an interesting point. I don't know if there was any warnings given or anything like that. And usually, refs kind of warn teams about stuff like that. So it's definitely very interesting. I wasn't there. I wasn't really in the situation to really know everything about it. So it's kind of hard to comment on it. But just, it's tough to see a game end because of that.
Okay, Sam. All right. Listen, you just soft shoed the heck out of that. And that's good, though, because I'll say it. Kadarius Toney, he was offsides. My guy Dan went through, we all watched the tape, saw that Kadarius Toney had lined up that way multiple times and did not receive a warning. So I'll clarify where I believe Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid were not upset that they were saying it wasn't an offsides penalty. They're saying that the standard is that a warning is given at every level of football. Should I say in the NFL, in your 2 years of experience, would you conclude that is normally the standard? You get that warning before they throw that flag.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think especially when you go back and look at how many times he lined up in the same spot, you would think if they don't say anything about it, then you would think it's okay. And you would think it's acceptable, behavior. But yeah, definitely a tough situation. But what a play by Travis Kelce, though.
Oh my gosh.
The ability to do that, man, in the middle of the play and just willing to take that risk in that situation. And I think that's part of the reason what makes him so great, what makes Pat so great. So it's fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, man, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. I think it was one of the greatest impromptu plays I've ever seen that won't count.
For sure.
And Kadarius Toney, there were some people saying that he was loafing on the play afterwards. He really wasn't. He did his job. It was a pick play to get Kelce open, and he got him open. And he turns around, and he's really not even ready for the throw. And Kelce just throws it to him. I'm like, you have to – I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, 100%, right? He's killing it this year, doing his thing, man of the year, all this different stuff. But for him to have the let's just call it the balls to make that play in that moment, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Have you?
Yeah, no, I haven't either. And I think that's what makes Kelce who he is. And just – just that just kind of fits his personality as far as how he plays the game and just how he runs his routes. How him and Pat are always on the same page. I think they do a lot of improv out there on the field, but it always seems like they're always on the same page. And just that connection that they have, it's so much fun to watch, and it's definitely something that I can definitely take as far as just sitting back and watching. Definitely something that you want to work on and build with the players you have on your team.
Yeah, I mean, if you could build that. I mean, holy cow, that would be otherworldly. Have you ever been in a situation on a football field where you obviously get mad about something, but it's really not about what happened? It's about a whole lot of other things that have happened, that just kind of pile up time after time after time after time, and you just finally lose it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's definitely can happen. When a lot of things build up, football is a game of a lot of emotion. I think the great competitors, the great ones, they care so much and put so much into it where at some point, emotion is going to show. And you want people to be frustrated. When we're not doing things well, I want people to be frustrated. You should be frustrated just for how hard we work and how much we put into it and how high our standards are. So I think it's definitely something that happened. I really haven't, blown up emotionally on the field this year, but right. Just knowing how much, we put into this makes you understand why that can happen at times.
Yeah, and you haven't blown up. I don't think I've ever really seen you blow up at any time on a football field. You're a pretty calm, cool, collected guy,
Try to be.
You do it really well. But Mahomes was not. And I did see him come out and apologize for his outburst and apologize to Josh Allen for what he said to him after the game. But I feel like I'm in the very few people who actually gained a ton of respect for Patrick Mahomes for what he has done. Not just the apology, but also the blow up. And the reason I say that is, as a quarterback, we both know this, it's our job to constantly take the responsibility for whatever goes wrong, because quarterbacks get all the praise. And we also get a lot of the criticism that either way it goes is probably not warranted, right? You're not the reason that you won every single game. You're also not the reason that you lost every single game. But my respect for Mahomes increased because he is still not to this day thrown his receivers or anybody on his team under the bus. And for them to have 33 drops this year, for MVS to have the drop that basically would have won them the game a couple weeks ago, and Mahomes to come back and say, man, I could have thrown the ball better. Like, to me, I've earned so much respect for him, even though he had that outburst. And I know that outburst had nothing to do with the dang penalty being called. It had everything to do with all the frustration of the year and them being 8-5 and not where they want to be at. But he's been the ultimate teammate. And to me, that was exemplified in him going off on the ref. He had an opportunity to blow off some steam. He did. But then he came back and apologized to not only Josh Allen and his teammates, but he apologized to the kids out there because he's a role model for those kids, and he doesn't want them to see him acting that way. I thought that was huge of Patrick Mahomes to kind of see that, but also still not throw his teammates under the bus. What do you think?
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely agree with. I thought you said it really well. I think he's a great leader, and just how good of a teammate he is, and just his ability, just even when things don't go as well. Obviously they're used to having a lot of success over there, and I'm sure the standards are very high. And when things aren't going as well as they expect to, it definitely gets frustrating. But just his ability to just continue to be a good teammate, continue to try to get the best out of his teammates, and just be supportive. I think just says a lot about who he is as a person. And I think one of the things that makes him just so special is how competitive he is and how much he puts into the game. And so I think, that obviously, him getting mad, that's part of the reason why he's so good is because how much emotion he plays with and how passionate he is and how much he wants to win. And I think, most winners have that in them. And definitely, I would want my quarterback to be frustrated as well. I just think he's obviously, he's playing a position at the highest level and doing it better than anybody right now. So definitely a good person to look up to.
Yeah, you said it right there. He's one of the, let's just be real. He's the greatest in the game right now currently that's playing. But fun fact, did you know that you've scored more fantasy football points than him this year?
Man, I don't really know. I don't really keep up with stuff like that. But I definitely traded to have some more wins. Gotta try to continue to add some more wins to the win column.
Now you see the way you handled that question was, or should I say statement, was a true professional way to do it. and I don't want the fans to think any type of way about us as players. But when we're playing, bro, we do not care about the fantasy points. We don't care. We just want to win games. And at the end of the day, do what we can do to help our team win those games. So I love the answer. Absolutely love the answer. All right, everyone, your favorite part of the show has finally come. It's Rob's Drip Check. In this episode of RG3 and The Ones is sponsored by True Classic Tees. Let's be real. It's getting chilly this holiday season, so let's talk about these new lightweight puffer jackets. As a guy who spends a ton of time outdoors, I love a jacket that is water resistant and keeps me warm without all the weight. And also, y'all, they're trying to, be a little fly. I'm talking about this Italian stallion Tommy DeVito agent fly. Do your thing out there now. The best part is that True Classic sells premium products at an affordable price. You can get their best-selling t-shirts, hoodies, jeans, and more in 3, 6, or 9 packs. Plus, they even have some exclusive special edition packs built for the holiday season. So you can get more bang for your buck this Christmas. But seriously, whatever you choose, you can't go wrong with True Classic. All their clothing is designed to be versatile and work with your lifestyle, so you can look and feel your best all damn day. In fact, True Classic is so committed to their products, they even have a 100% fit guarantee and easy returns. So, if you're ready to upgrade your closet, shop now with my exclusive link at trueclassictees.com/RG3 and save up to 25% off your first order. End your year with holiday cheer. Thanks, True Classic. Next question is, what is your beef with beef?
Man, just growing up, I didn't like red meat. And I just never really liked it growing up. So I've kind of stayed away from it. I've tried to work it back into my diet just to, kind of have some more variation as far as what I eat. But I still don't like it. At this point, it's kind of a mental block for me.
Okay.
Every single time I try to eat it, I don't feel good, feel sick. But yeah, I wish I liked it, but I don't. And so I pretty much just eat a lot of chicken, eat some turkey. That's pretty much all the only meats that I eat, and it's worked for me. But no, I definitely get a lot of crap for it for sure.
I was going to say, Honestly, whatever you want to eat is cool, man. I'm not going to judge what meats a guy is eating out here. Like, it is what it is. If you don't like beef, you don't like red meat, cool. What's your favorite type of chicken, though?
Man, it depends. Obviously, for the most part, I eat a lot of grilled chicken, obviously for health reasons. But at times, when I'm back home or something, I'll dabble into, some Bojangles or something like that back in North Carolina every now and then. There's definitely lots of good places out there for sure.
Hey, Bojangles be smacking, bro. Speaking of juicy beef, did you see what happened with DK Metcalf and Fred Warner this past week?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it, but I really didn't know all the details as far as what happened. I wasn't able to watch that game, so I really don't know. There was something going on. But yeah, I really don't know all the details to be able to comment on it. What ended up happening?
There you go. See, that's what I'm here for, Sam. I'm here to give you all these details. Basically, before the game, Kyle Shanahan had told the whole team, hey, we're going to get 14 out the game. DK's had some moments this year where he's his emotions have gotten the best of him. So they basically plotted an entire plan to get DK out to fire him up. So Fred Warner caught an interception. DK ended up tackling him with like a WWE suplex move because he thought he still had the ball, but Fred pitched it. So when Fred got up, he ended up hitting DK in the back while DK was still on the ground. And when I say back, I mean back and the head, something that you probably would get upset about. So DK got up, ran to him, grabbed him by the face mask, told him some expletives probably, and then pushed him away, and they threw DK out of the game for that. So my question to you isn't about DK getting thrown out, right? That's not your job to articulate that or conjugate that or whatever. But have you ever been in a fight on a football field?
No, I haven't.
Wow.
I've never been in a fight. I try to kind of stay out of those things just because, I was in some fights growing up, just in the neighborhood and stuff like that. But I don't really, at times, you want guys in your team to, be in there and fighting. And I think that some of that stuff can be good at times. Obviously, you want to try to avoid those situations as much as possible in games. But something like that, I can definitely see why things got heated. That's interesting. I didn't know that. They said that, Kyle said those things before the game, but that's definitely interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, I found it interesting as well. But when I watched the clip, I encourage you to go watch the clip. It's on my Twitter. I'm sure it's on other people's Twitters as well. Go check it out. Because DK Metcalf, bro, the dude is. I don't know how to describe how much of an absolute unit this guy is, because Fred Warner, this, he's the best linebacker in the NFL. Hands down, at least in my opinion, running, tackling, covering. And he's a pretty big dude. But when DK grabbed him by the face mask, bro, it looked like he was little brothering him. He was towering over him. And I know there's a Deebo Samuel on that San Francisco 49ers team, but DK Metcalf was the real Deebo in that moment. This dude is absolutely ripped. Have you ever seen DK in person?
Yeah. We played Seattle a couple weeks ago.
There you go. That's right.
We actually, me and him played for the same offense coordinator in college. My offense coordinator, Phil Longo, was at Ole Miss with DK. DK was nice enough, I don't even know if he remembers, but when I was in college, he got on a Zoom and kind of talked to everybody, and we were able to ask him questions and stuff. So just, he's always stayed in touch with me and followed along my journey.
That's awesome.
So much respect for him. And yeah, he's everything you want, he's got everything you want. And so he's definitely a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, definitely not someone you want to pick a fight with for sure.
No, not at all. And listen, I am not built like DK Metcalf. All right, I'm not.
Me neither.
But I have been in a fight on a football field, Sam. And it happened in high school. We did this little toss play. I don't know if you guys ran it in high school, but we used to do outside toss. We called it 98 toss or 99 toss in this case. And you become the lead blocker as a quarterback to get the numbers in your favor. So I toss it out to the running back. I'm his lead blocker. I'm like, I'm going to go annihilate this safety. And boy, did I ever. I picked him up, hit him, pancaked him, started celebrating in his face and everything. I'm pumped up. I'm pretty pumped up, so I'm not going to lie. This guy was so mad He took his helmet off, and then he hit me with two of the fastest punches I've ever seen in my life, or should I say have not seen. Bink, bink. And I'm like, oh, but Sam, I still have my helmet on. So this guy has no helmet on now. He's no helmet. I put him in a headlock, beat him up, got thrown out the game. But the best part of this for me, Sam, I'll never forget. When I get on the bus going back home, right? We're in the big yellow school bus. This is high school, you know what I'm saying? We don't have those fancy buses where I was at. I get on the bus and the entire team starts chanting, Ali, Ali. And the bus is bouncing as we're leaving the parking lot. I'll never forget it. It was certainly worth it. It was certainly worth it in that moment. But sure. I've never been in a fight ever again on a football field because, you know, we got to be cerebral guys, got to calm down. But it was certainly worth it in that moment.
Well, no, I mean, quarterbacks don't get the opportunity to get out there and lead block and kind of, you know, throw their body around, you know, so you definitely got to take advantage of those moments. And it's definitely a funny story. I'm assuming y'all still won the game.
Yes, we won the game. We won the game. So
yeah, then there it is. It was all worth it in the end.
It was a double victory for us on the football field and in the boxing ring.
For sure.
You ended up getting the juice this year, right? Because you're starting quarterback for the Washington Commanders. But you also have a different type of juice, some soul juice. Tell me about that opportunity.
Yeah, man, got my soul juice right here. But I've been fortunate and blessed to be a part of the soul juice team. You know, being a part is kind of having some equity in the company and being a partner has been a really cool opportunity for me. You know, it's a Korean-based company, which I'm part Korean. My dad's half Korean. So it made a lot of sense for me, but it's a Korean pear-based juice. You know, it's made with only 3 ingredients: Korean pears, lemons, and water. So very, very healthy. You know, it's a sports drink. You know, it tastes good. You know, it's very healthy. It's packed with tons of electrolytes. And it's definitely one of my go-tos, you know, when I'm working out, when I'm on the field and stuff like that. So it's definitely something that everybody should check out for sure.
No, that's awesome. I want to check it out. I remember this movie, Bruce Leroy, back in the day. I don't know if you remember that because this might be a little bit before your time, but they had this guy named Show Nuff, and he would, you know, talk about he's got the juice and he's got the glow. So I'm looking forward to some of that soul juice. And just for the people at home, can you spell that? Because when I heard it the first time, I was thinking like, oh, you got the soul juice. But how's it spelled?
Yeah, it's SEOUL, and Seoul. You know, obviously Seoul is the capital of South Korea.
There you go.
So it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, you know, it's been super fun to be a part of. You know, and just to be a part of the team. You know, it's kind of unlike any other partnership I've had before. So definitely been an ultimate blessing. But we'll send you some for sure.
Listen, I love the double entendres. Okay, so you can get the soul juice, the soul part of it, and you can go to soul with it. So make sure y'all check that out from my man Sam Howell. Just a little bit more about your Korean heritage. Honestly, it was something that I didn't know that much about. But what would you say has been your inspiration to tap more into your Korean heritage at this point in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think my grandmother, you know, she's from South Korea, and she's someone that has been so impactful for me in my life. And unfortunately, she passed away unexpectedly last year, last Thanksgiving. So, you know, obviously just trying to carry on her legacy. And she's, you know, one of the main reasons that I'm where I'm at today. And she just, not only me, but, you know, my brother and sister and cousin, you know, she was just always there for us and did so much for us throughout our lives. And so I just try to do everything I can to carry on that legacy, and just try to shine a light on that Korean heritage and on Korean athletics as well. Just because, you know, I think especially in football, you don't see a lot of, you know, Korean people playing football. So just trying to show kids that are Korean that, you know, you can do it, and that it's definitely a sport that we can play. And, you know, it's definitely something I'll continue to, you know, carry along with me.
Man, I'm sorry to hear about the passing of your grandmother. What was her name?
Yeah, her name was Judy. That was her American name. Her Korean name was Han.
Han. So do you mind sharing a couple, you know, stories from your childhood with Grandma Han and just how impactful she was in your life?
Yeah, I mean, she was just, you know, every single time I saw her, you know, she would hand me, you know, like a $10 bill or a $20 bill, you know, just to make sure I was all right. But to this day, I've never met someone, you know, as caring as she was, and just someone that was so willing to help other people, like she was. And, you know, she was as she continued to grow old, she continued to work. She never stopped working. She was always, running her own business and, just trying to do more, trying to make more money just to help us. And so she was just so inspirational, and definitely means so much to me for sure.
Well, I'm sure that she is very proud of you and those 10s and 20s that she gave you to hold on to. I'm sure she's looking down on you now with what you're doing in the NFL and have an opportunity to be a starting quarterback for the Commanders and is very, very proud. You talked about the list of, or not the list, you talked about how very few Korean Americans actually play American football. It's a very short list. What does that mean to you to be a part of that list?
Yeah, it means a lot. Just to, I'm one of the few that's been able to do it. But I think also with that, comes a responsibility to try and inspire the next generation, and just try to give people hope, and let them know that it's definitely something that they should pursue doing, and that it's possible doing, just because you don't see a ton of not only Koreans, but a lot of Asian Americans. You don't see a ton in the NFL, and it's not really something that you would say, is a possibility for a lot of Asian American kids, but, there's people that are doing it. And, it's definitely something that I just try to be a role model and try to give people hope for sure.
Listen, I wanted to get into this with you before I let you go. I want to know for you, whether it was growing up or right now, who is the one that you emulate your game after?
Yeah, I think growing up, it was Drew Brees.
Ooh, okay.
And just the way he played the game and just how efficient he was, just I think every single time you turn him on, you know what you're going to get with him. So consistent, and just the way he gets the ball out on time, and just the way he played the position was so much fun to watch. And obviously, I don't think we have similar playing styles, but he's definitely someone that, especially inside the pocket, I try to watch as much as I can and just try to model how consistent he was with his feet and how the ball was always out on time.
Wow.
And so definitely when it comes to being inside the pocket, he's definitely someone that I try to watch and try to learn from.
Nah, he's Drew Brees. He might not be able to throw a football anymore because he talked about how, the rotator cuff issues that he had with the Chargers, and that's why he ended his career and he can't throw it. But you want to talk about a guy that is a master class magician in the pocket when it comes to footwork, different drops, set in the pocket, escape in the pocket. His athleticism was a little underappreciated, I felt like, but it was because of the way he did it. So I think that's a perfect guy to emulate your game after. And that leads me to my next question. You got to exclude yourself here, right? But if we had a quarterback draft and we get to each pick 5 guys, you pick, I pick, okay? Who's your first pick of the quarterback draft?
Out of anybody that's ever played, or
anyone playing right now? Playing right now. Who is their first pick? And then we'll go pick for pick back and forth.
You gotta take Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, I'll take Lamar Jackson.
I'll take Jalen Hurts.
Ooh, that is a great pick. I'm gonna take Dak Prescott.
That's a good pick. I was definitely.
I had to save you from picking him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you doing that. Appreciate you doing that. I'm gonna say Jared Goff.
Ooh, okay, all right. I guess I'm taking all the guys that got a little wiggle. I'll take Josh Allen.
Then I'm gonna go Joe Burrow.
That's a good one. And I will allow that, even though I know he is banged up right now. I will still allow that because Joe Burrow is an animal. CJ Stroud.
Good pick. Okay. I was going with CJ next.
All right, your last one.
Last one, I'm gonna take. Give me Brock Purdy.
Ooh,
Brock's playing well, man. You can't obviously, people have their opinions, but you can't take away what he's doing on the football field, man. And it's been fun to watch.
Oh my gosh, Sam, that's a beautiful pick. But I'm gonna go with my man out of New York. Sorry, Sam. I'm gonna go with Tommy DeVito. All right, give me the Italian. Give me the salami guy. Okay, Mr. Cutlets himself. The guy was absolutely lights out in this last game. And when I say lights out, I'm talking about from like what we talk about when you watch tape. He didn't throw for 300 yards, but he was 4 for 4 for 53 yards on the last drive. He was calm and patient enough to take the check down. 2-minute drill, never forget about the check down. And then he throws a zinger to Wan'Dale Robinson for the big game that puts him in field goal range. I thought Tommy DeVito played his tail off, and he's probably the best thing that's ever happened to Daniel Jones, because now they're not going to be in position to draft a quarterback very, very high. But that would be my 5. And actually, I like that game. I think that's a really good game. And you pick some pretty great quarterbacks. That'd be pretty awesome to see.
There's some good ones out there, man. It's been a lot of fun just to be a part of the league, and there's some really good quarterbacks playing at a high level right now. So it's been fun to go up against them each and every week.
My last question before I let you bounce is, what's your favorite nickname so far that has been bestowed upon you by the fan base?
It's hard, hard to say. There's been a lot of good ones, but I think some people have called me the Wolf. Obviously, with the last name, but that's definitely one of them that I can get behind. It might have been Kay Adams, might have been the one who made that one, but that's definitely been one that I'm a fan of. They play in the stadium, they play the Wolf Howell sound all the time, so that's definitely one I can get behind.
Nah, that shit. Listen, that's it. You're the Wolf from now on. I call you Slinging Sammy Howell. I've heard some people say make 'em Howl, but the Wolf, whoo. No, that's real. I really, that's it. I can't even hate on that. That's a great nickname. And I know the fans want the name to be changed to the Red Wolves. So if you could have the Wolf and the Red Wolves, that'd be incredible. But at the end of the day, man, I know you got 4 games left to finish out this year. I want to see you go out there and finish strong. Continue to stamp your claim to being the franchise quarterback for the Washington Commanders. You got my full support, brother. I know you got the full support of your teammates and certainly of the fan base. So just continue to go out and keep grinding, man. Like, this is a long journey for you. You're going to be in the NFL for a very, very long time, not just because of your ability, but because of your connectability. You're a people connector, and I appreciate you coming on here and helping me connect with more people.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you having me on, man. Definitely a cool opportunity for sure.
RG3 and The Ones is presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the most fun I've had, winning up to 25 times my money this football season. People, we making bank. It's as simple as this. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. Pow! PrizePicks even offers a reboot policy so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. Now that's clutch. If you have a player who exits the game in the first half of a football game and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. Again, the only one. PrizePicks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Let's get into it. This week's PrizePicks for me, I'm going with Lamar Jackson, 47.5 rushing yards. Why? He's going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And even though the Jags are ranked 4th in the NFL in how many rushing yards they give up per game, they haven't seen an animal like Lamar Jackson. And over the past few weeks, he's been averaging more than 47.5 rushing yards. My next one is going to be Devontae Adams, and I'm picking him at 67.5 receiving yards. And the reason being is that the Chargers are 29th in the league in yards per game given up. And they're also 28th and how many yards they give up per pass. So that's it for me. And you can call me Santa because I've been out here giving out gifts. Make sure y'all pick wisely. So those are my picks. Daily fantasy sports is made easy with PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/RG3 and use code RG3 for a first deposit match of up to $100. Again, go to prizepicks.com/RG3 and use code RG3 for a first deposit match of up to $100. All right, people, that's a wrap for episode 13 of RG3 and The Ones. I want to say thank you to Sam Howell for coming on the show, and I am certainly going to make sure I go get some of that soul juice. Once again, RG3 and The Ones is a Wave Sports and Entertainment original in partnership with Whispering Oaks Productions, presented by PrizePicks. So make sure you guys continue to support us. Go follow us on social media at RG3 and The Ones. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube page and listen wherever you get your podcasts. I want to say shout out to my producers, They are absolutely amazing. This show would not be possible without them. And of course, I always leave you guys with a little bit of motivation. So make sure you don't allow your feelings to determine how hard you work. Your dreams do not care about how you feel. Always work hard, and let's go live the lives that we always thought we could. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.